Hi guys, and welcome back to Switch Up. Today we have a list for you that we really enjoy making because it really does play on the reason that we play games to begin with, and it's our addictive games list. These are games that just hook you. They're not necessarily the best games on Switch, they are the most addictive games on Switch.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're going to have 5 games each, making obviously the 10 for the list, and then we're going to have one special game which is our subscriber's choice based on the winner of the community post that was put up the other day.
Also, remember that we'll be giving away a copy of Divinity 2 on the Nintendo Switch in the coming days, so make sure that you're subscribed and you do that little notification bell thing. Let's get into the list. My first pick on the list is a wonderful space-based roguelike game called Everspace. Now, I reviewed this a while back, but absolutely loved it. It's from Rockfish Games, who bought us many of the mobile space sims back in the day. This is the Stellar Edition that has the new expansion pack, the Encounters expansion pack, that increases the story. What I liked about the game was that as you play through different runs, you feel like there's some progression going on, because not only do you unlock new ships, but the story elements roll over to the next playthrough. There's brilliant combat here, and after a little tweaking, some excellent controls as well. A very good game and well worth picking up if you're looking for a decent space shooter.
Yeah, that's had a physical release recently, hasn't it? So I think that might be time to pick that up for me, to be honest. Right, my first pick then would be a game called Sushi Striker, which I played recently. I've had it a while but not got round to it. So the idea is that you battle against people by matching up plates of the same colour and then throwing the plates of sushi at them. A very bizarre premise indeed. But it's one of those games with a 3-star system that you feel like you have to keep trying the levels until you get the aforementioned 3 stars. Now, I will say the game screams out to be played with a stylus, and I think it did get a 3DS release as well, which would make sense. But nonetheless, it's a great little game.
Nice one. I might have to give that a little go, although I'm not very good at match 3 style games, to be fair, as you will know. The next game for me is Dead Cells. Yes, I've mentioned it a lot on the channel, and there's a good reason for that. It's an absolutely brilliant game. It looks a little bit like the Prince of Persia games from back in the day in terms of the motion of the character. Everything's so smooth. You unlock new weapons in 3 distinct classes, and as you do so, you also gain power-up abilities that you can link to those weapons. Now, if you keep doing the same upgrade over and over, then it gradually loses its potency, but there's a real balancing act here, and I enjoy the game a lot. There has been an update since launch which adds some new boss fights.
Right, my next pick then is a bit out on left field, and it's a game within a game if you like. It's in the Namco Museum arcade pack, or the first one that came out, and it's the game called Tank Force. Now, what I usually do with this Namco Museum is I start it up with the intention of playing either Rolling Thunder or Splatterhouse, and end up playing Tank Force. So the basic idea is that you have to destroy the other tanks, and then obviously move on to the next level, and it's a high score chasing arcade game, and I just can't get enough of it. It's incredibly addictive. In fact, I think I want to go and play it now. I want to hand the mic over to you.
Lovely stuff. Has that got multiplayer on it?
I think it has. I think it might have. Could be wrong though. Should have just said I don't know.
My next choice is the legendary Monster Hunter series. Now, we put more time into Monster Hunter XX, which, when it dropped on the Nintendo Switch, I think Glenn and I were like kids in a candy store. That's pretty much how we got to almost form this channel. We spent months, if not almost years, playing Monster Hunter on the 3DS. Man, those were good times, weren't they?
Yeah, we used to work together, and whenever we could and we could get away with not working, we'd be playing Monster Hunter. Yeah, it was good times, good times.
Monster Hunter is a game whereby you fight a progressively more difficult series of monsters. You do this with up to 3 other companions online, and that's where the majority of the fun comes from. The main hook for me is where you're trying to unlock a certain armor set, and to do so you have to get various parts from different monsters. Some of the drops will only be like a 3% chance. You eventually get that drop, and the hooks are so real. This game keeps you coming back. If you've not tried it, an amazing game.
Okay, my third pick then is a game that's a bit of a blast from the past, and it's Splatoon 2. Now, because of this channel, we don't get to play some of these games as much as we would like, but this was a game when the Switch first came out that we sunk a ridiculous amount of hours into. You have the Turf Wars, which is addictive in its own right because you either lose and you want to try and win a game, you don't want to end on a bad note, or you win and you feel like you want to keep that winning run going. Either way, you want to keep playing. But the part that really hooked me in was, no pun intended, was the Salmon Run, which was in itself a really addictive gameplay mode, wasn't it?
Salmon Run was amazing. I remember when it first came out, there were only a couple of stages and then they expanded it, and we played that way more than anything else.
I think when it first came out, you could only play it at certain times. It was really odd. You'd go to play it and it was closed. I don't know if that's been changed since. Maybe you can let us know in the comments, but yeah, fantastic game mode.
The next title is a game called Moonlighter. Now this is essentially a Zelda cum shop simulator, whereby in the day you run a nice little store selling all the loot you gained in the night, and at night you moonlight as an adventurer. It's a very challenging game actually, but one that was unbelievably addictive. It's so compulsive, and there is a mechanic whereby you'll get a rich salesman come in and you just want to kind of crank those prices up. There's a balancing act to be had here, and a very lovely soundtrack to boot by David Fenn, who actually emailed me after the review and said what a good job we'd done, so it was a real compliment.
Okay, my next one is one that I reviewed fairly recently, and it's Friday the 13th. Now, it's strange sometimes because this is a game that I didn't give a huge score to. I think it got high 60s. I found it more fun playing as the counsellors than I did as Jason, which is maybe strange and maybe goes against the norm, but I really liked the idea of having to try and escape and having to try and work with the other people you're playing with. I haven't managed to escape yet, and again, that's one of those little hooks that keeps you playing, and I just, again, wish that I had more time to dedicate to it because it's a game that I'd play a lot more if I did.
And if you like that, I think you're going to really like Dead by Daylight, which arrives in 4 days' time. That's supposed to be, from what I hear, equally good, if not maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, and when it released on the other systems, it had a download that had you playing as Michael Myers. I don't know if that will be included in the Switch version. I certainly hope so, though.
Great stuff. My last and probably one of the most addictive games I've also reviewed for the channel is a game called Sheltered. Now this, very much like This War of Mine, is a game where you create your own family and then live out their lives within a fallout shelter. Throughout the experience you'll encounter other survivors in the wasteland, and you can either trade with them or, as I found out, end up having your family members become corrupted and holding people hostage, etc. There's a lot here you can do, and there's also some pre-made story scenarios to play out, which add a lot of value to the experience.
Okay, my final pick then, I deliberated about this one. I was torn between two puzzle games. I was looking at either Lumines or Tetris, and in the end I had to go with Tetris. Now the version that I've picked is Puyo Puyo Tetris. I haven't played Tetris 99 just because we get so many download codes. It's not really worth downloading anything else because within a week you'd have to delete it for space for the next review. So I stick with my tried and trusted Puyo Puyo Tetris. Now Tetris is quite possibly, very subjectively, the best game ever made. Now I had it on the Game Boy, as did everyone else in the world I'm sure, but as a kid you don't appreciate it. You push it to one side and you play Super Mario Land instead. But as you get older you realise the brilliance of it, and it's a game that I could probably play for the rest of my life. And if we were doing the whole Desert Island thing that people do with video games, Tetris 100% would be on there.
Best game ever made? Good lord. Last time I played Puyo Puyo Tetris, which is a great game to be fair, was also the 5th time Bethan had beaten me in a row, so I stopped playing after that. Now the last game on our list has been chosen by yourselves, the subscribers of the channel, and that goes to Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah, now neither of us have played this particular version. I've played a fair bit of Fire Emblem in my time though. I played Fire Emblem 2. I found it in a store over here in the UK called WH Smith's, just completely on the off chance back in the day, and absolutely fell in love with it. I played the Wii version and the 3DS versions after that, and it's a cracking series, a really good game, and it's definitely one we'd have to pick up at some point and have a go on the Switch version.
Yeah, other honourable mentions that were also high up in the rankings are games like Hollow Knight was up there, Stardew Valley was high up on the list, but it was Fire Emblem that seems to have won out. Let us know down in the comments your most addictive games. Remember, this isn't the best games, it's the most addictive, so let us know in the comments. We'll be giving away that copy of Divinity in the coming days.
Good stuff. Yeah, okay, a quick thank you to our patrons as always for your continued support. You make all this possible, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.
Nice one. For all things Switch all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!